Hello everyone and welcome to a different type of video. Today I have the first race I competed in well, I think it's been about 450 days now. But yeah, this race is the second event of World Racing League on GP25, and yeah, it's at Jerez. It's a track that I actually quite enjoy now. In the past I haven't, but now I'd say it's more on my good track list, especially after the practice I've had in this game. I'm enjoying this game quite a lot, even though it has quite a few issues. You can see in the background here, I'm just doing my first lap here on the mediums. I prefer to start on mediums with full fuel just to warm up to the track and you know, get a feel for the lobby, get a feel for the game, warm up to the soft tyres. And here is my lap with a 22.5 in the first sector, which is pretty decent considering mediums full fuel. It's a solid lap so far, no clear mistakes. Anyway, this is a very competitive lobby. As you can see just from the list on the left, now on this game there is full crossplay, so that means you can play PlayStation, PC, Xbox all in the same lobby. And these are the type of lobbies you get. You have Adrian, who is a two-time eSport champion, Jack Hammer, two-time eSport champion, the current reigning double champion. You have some very fast riders. As you can see there, Jack going 33.4 on the first lap. Spada now straight into the 32, it's already faster than the two previous divisions before us. And then Adrian with a 32.4, which is, for his first or second flying lap, is very fast, especially for the first 3 minutes of the session. But yeah, you have other riders in there, Spada Longo, eSport rider, Gabriello 46, who's very talented. He's a very fast rider. He hasn't made it to eSports, but I think he's qualified a few times. Julito Campion, probably the best rider never to get into eSports. You have VTR, very fast, upcoming on PlayStation. You have Daniele Aloe, who finished second in the world last year. Juanda, I think it's like MotoGP in something eSport related for Indonesia. He won that competition, which is very good. It's a PC competition, so that's why I don't know much about it. And you also have Flavio Baldacci, who is currently eSport rider for Pramac, I believe. So yeah, very competitive. Oh, I almost forgot Christian somehow. Very fast as well. I think he's been runner-up in the eSport Championship before, but I could be wrong. Anyway, here you can see I'm starting my first proper lap on the softs, and yeah, already 2 tenths up going into turn 2. It's incredible. It's the amount of time we gain on the soft tyres immediately. Flying through turn 3 there, missing the apex a little bit, but it's fine. We're going through turn 4, clipping the inside curve very nicely. It wasn't perfect, but it's about as good as you can get without crashing. Now going into turn 5, taking a nice tight line, missing the inside curve slightly, with a little bit of shake in the middle, but on the exit getting a really good run at the corner. Choosing not to use the ride high device. I found for me, I just prefer not using it. Braking hard, there's a white line on the left that uses the marker, braking deep into the corner, make sure I clip this inside curve perfectly. Ran a little bit wide, but still very tight on the apex, getting a good run. 5 tenths off on my lap halfway around. Now going into the section of track where you can really gain time through turn 7. Good line, all the way to the outside curve, almost invalidating, missing the turn 8 inside curve, which is very unfortunate, because if I hit that curve I think it's another 10th in the lap. I'm braking nicely into turn 9, make sure not to brake too late because it's easy to run wide, hitting the inside curve perfectly with a good exit. 8 tenths off my time and 0.196 up on Adrian, so it's a very good lap. I'm for about a 33.1, maybe a 30, oh no, I'm for a 32.1, maybe a 32.0 if I get this final sector perfect, but on this turn 11 slightly, I get a really good run through Ferrari, turn 11, braking hard into the final corner. The rear steps out a little bit, but it shouldn't be too bad. I won't lose too much time from that. 8 tenths up, I'm getting a good exit, ride hard device down, slight wheelie, which highly benefits the lap time. On the run to the line, we are at second up, and we do a 32.136 on the first flying lap of the softs, which is quite incredible. It's a very solid lap time. I think in practice I was averaging about 32.1, 32.0, 32.2. So that's a very nice lap time straight away, and you can see here I'm checking the leaderboard, and I have a 2/10 advantage currently to Adrian Julito, with a further gap to Jack and the rest of the field. Anyway, now getting on to my last completed lap of the session. Daniele Aloe behind me here, so I'm just going to get out of his way. I don't want to impede my teammate on this grid. I don't know, he isn't on a lap. I thought he was, but he isn't. It must have been another lap where I was in front of him. Anyway, exiting the final corner, getting a little bit of a wheelie there, which isn't the greatest, but it's okay. Now heading into turn 1, you can see there's a guy up ahead, Gabriello. He's just starting his lap. So we'll see how that goes. Doing the right height device out of turn 1, braking hard into turn 2. I say very easy to run wide in that corner and miss the apex, but got it pretty good. And I got turn 3 better on this lap, but however I didn't get quite the a good run through turn 4. I'd say it's very important to hit that inside curve. If you can hit it right, you can gain so much time. I think it's probably a tenth in that corner compared to what I just did, but taking turn 5 quite nicely, getting a good exit all the way to the outside curve, but I'm a tenth down on my own delta. And now braking hard into turn 6, trying to hit the inside curve again, and that looks better than my last lap. I gained a little bit of time, however the exit was okay and then it didn't get a good enough run, but into turn 7, slightly wide on the curve, you want to hit the inside because it kind of hooks you around. It's the same with turn 8 here. I hit the inside, but I didn't quite get the drive that you'd usually be able to get on the inside curve. I just hit it in the wrong sort of window. Going down to turn 9, getting that pretty good. Not as good as my last lap, but still very solid, and I'm a tenth and a quarter down on my delta, but I didn't say that on the live delta. I'm going into turn 11, doing it much better than my last volley. I gained a tenth in that one corner alone. I'm going through turn 12 again, flying through, full commitment now because it's going to be my last flying lap of the session. Into the final corner, get a little bit of a step out on the rear, which would definitely lose me a bit of time. Getting a nice exit, running a little bit too wide, there's no wheelie so I don't get extra drive out of the corner. And coming up to the line, I do a 132.170. So that's two 132.1s in the same session, which is pretty nice. And you can see here, I'm just sat in the pit lane, waiting for everyone to finish their laps. You can see Christian is the only one that's on a proper flying lap right now. And a 36.5 is very good for the second sector. That's enough to get you into the low mid to low 32 range. But unfortunately, he crashed at turn 8. And here are the final qualifying results. I'm on pole with my first race in a very long time with a 32.1. And followed by Adrian, who leads, so Christian, Jack, which is a very fast front 5, Daniele, Aloe, Spada Longo, Gabriello, VTR, Joando, and Flavio Baldacci, who unfortunately didn't set a time.
The riders are lined up on
now, moving on to the race.
Doesn't seem to be any problems, and they're all
you can see my number and helmet have changed for whatever reason. You're under 27, and a nice white helmet with some cool designs, but yeah, it's... sometimes the game does this. Thanks, Milestone. Anyway, 5 red lights. Just waiting, and they're out. And we get a decent launch, but even with auto starts, I still didn't get a good enough launch compared to Adrian and Julito. As Adrian runs wide into turn 1 and pushes me out, and unfortunately here I lost 3 positions straight away. And I tapped the rear of Adrian and his bike, thanks to Milestone again with their laggy servers. Adrian crashes in front of you, then rejoins again, and I'm in a very tough situation here. I'm on the inside of Jack, and Adrian's bike lags, and it hits Jack, and it just means that I go down, which is super unfortunate, and I have to make a really good recovery if I want any sort of race out of this. I'm currently 5 seconds off the lead after that one little lag moment between Adrian and Jack, and there's just nothing I can do, which is super unfortunate. Joanda got an even worse start than me, and he's 4 seconds behind. So, 4 tenths behind. He's a further 5.5 seconds from the leader already, who's Julito. He's very fast as Julito, and from this point of the race, yeah, he just has to manage it and make sure he doesn't make any mistakes. You can see Christian has crashed in front of us, and we rejoined just behind him. So, yeah, and Daniele Aloe's gone down as well. So 3 factory Ducatis in this race are all at the back of the field. All getting very unfortunate on the start. Everyone having a crash. And at this point of the race, you just want to avoid getting warnings. Jerez is very easy to get warnings around, so it's super important not to make any mistakes. You need to stay online, be precise. I say it's important not to risk turn 12 too much as well, because that's one of the easiest corners to get warning at on the whole track. You can see Christian in front of us. I was hoping that after my crash I'd be able to get a couple clean laps just to be able to catch back up to the group. I have Christian in front of me now, so I have to manage my pace, be careful about braking in the slipstream. Because on this game, and I mean all MotoGP games really, if you're in the slipstream, you get pulled into the corner when you're braking behind someone, and it's the same as real life as well. You need to be very careful on the brakes, and so now I need to be slightly more careful. The only way I'm able to overtake him is if I get right up behind him and then basically wait for a mistake, or pull alongside him and brake alongside him. Otherwise I'm not going to be able to make a move. And here you can see we're already catching up to the group in front of us. I think Gabriello was about 2 seconds up the road at the end, or about the start of the last lap, and we're already, I'd say, from here about 1.2 behind. So yeah, we've caught quite nicely here. We're just following Christian, letting him do his thing. He's very fast on this game as well as Christian. I was following him in this race, and I saw some of the lines he was doing, and he was quick. So need to watch out for him in the future in qualification, and maybe esports in the future if we get seats. Anyway, breaking into turn 9, just following Christian still, getting right up behind his rear wheel. It's very important on this game as well at the moment until Milestone fixes servers that you don't touch other people's bikes in any way, because as you saw at turn 2 with Adrian on the first lap, I touched his rear tyre and on my screen he crashed, but he actually didn't. Then he just lagged back in front of me on my screen, and then there's a bunch of chaos, and you know, it's easy to crash. Anyway, right behind Christian now, within what, a tenth, following him across the line to finish lap 2, and I set the fastest lap of the race to a 1:33.0, which is pretty solid considering my first sector was a 22.7, which is about 2.5-3 tenths off race, should be in clean air. Anyway, now going through turn 2 and 3, it's very easy to crash on this inside curve, so you need to be very careful on the throttle, and make sure you sit off your bike slightly on the inside, because if you don't, the inside curve at the end, it's very easy to crash. I think you'll see it in this race. I'm not going to say who and where or who and how it happened, but it's just super unfortunate when that happens, when you get on that inside curve, how it just spits you off. I really hope Milestone fix the inconsistencies in this game. You can see Christian in front of us going for a move from Gabriello, but he goes really wide. It looks like he just missed his braking marker, and now what, I've gained another position up to 8th place, now 4.4 seconds off the lead. So after the crash, I've already gained 6 tenths on the leader, which is quite nice. It shows that I have very strong pace. And again, right behind Gabriello here, and I used the curve too much and I didn't slow down. Then there's a little bit of a lag moment where I get another warning. 2 warnings in a space of what, corner and a half. So it shows how careful you have to be, because I mean, I'm already on 3 warnings, and it's just the end of lap 3. So you know, it's super easy to get warnings around here. Still following Gabriello though, just clipping that inside curve perfectly, getting right behind him, but I'm not quite close enough to make a move. As you can see, Jack crashing in front of us, which is super unfortunate for the reigning double champion. I believe he just clipped the outside curve. When you go on the outside curve with the final corner too much, it's very easy to lose the front, and I think that's what happened to him there. Anyway, crossing line to finish lap 3 with a 33.7, which isn't the greatest lap, but it's not a big surprise when I end up hitting the back of Gabriello into turn 8. Now following him through turn 3 and 4, right up behind, there's a good overtaking opportunity coming up in turn 6. However, I get a very good run on him out of turn 4, up the inside at turn 5, holding it tight on the apex, make sure I don't miss my braking marker, holding the inside as well, because this inside curve is super strong. If you get on that inside curve on the exit, you can gain a tenth, probably half a tenth. As you can see already, Gabriello without the curve is 2 tenths behind me, just on the exit of the corner. So yeah, that was very nice, a great overtake, and I missed the inside of turn 6, but it's fine because I have a nice little gap behind me to Gabriello and Christian, who are now side by side. And it looks like Christian's made his way through in 7th place. So us two, Fractured Ducati duo, making our way through the field quite quickly after our crashes. 2 tenths down on my delta right now, so an alright lap coming in. You can see up ahead of us we have VTR, Spadalonga and Flavio Baldacci. VTR, after having a tough qualifying, now up to 3rd place, which is very solid. Spada again, after he had a tough qualifying as well, and he's up to 4th. And I believe actually at turn 3 on the first lap, he had a bit of a buggy contact with Gabriello, I think on his screen. Gabriello was on the inside of the corner, and then suddenly his bike appeared on the outside and pushed him off. As you can see up ahead of us, Spadalonga and Flavio attacking VTR. Spada gets through, but Flavio is not quite able to. VTR on the exit of that corner had the phantom wheel spin, we call it, or phantom spin. And it's where you're not actually spinning up the rear tyre, but the game just slows you down for no reason. You see Flavio here touching the rear of VTR. VTR has to go narrow, and he goes on the inside curve and he high sides, which is what I mentioned earlier. It's very easy to crash, and we go for a move from Flavio because VTR's crash opens up the door and we make the position up. And now into 4th place already after 4.5 laps from almost last in the field, 4 tenths off the back of the field, and now up to 4th position with a brilliant recovery already. And now next in our sights will be Spadalonga in 3rd position after a brilliant recovery himself as well, nailing the inside of the turn 6 curve there. Very important to hit it. However, after the patch, because I'm recording this or recording the voiceover after the patch, that inside curve is very slippery now, and it's easy to crash or run wide. So I don't know what Milestone did in the patch. They've obviously made the curves worse somehow, but they didn't mention it at all. which is probably the way to go about it. The curbs in this game are very overpowered, or they were very overpowered. Now they're still strong, but they're not quite as strong, so that's nice. But at the same time, it's quite annoying, because when you're following your ghost in time trial, you see your ghost pulling away on the inside curves, you're like, how's that happening? But then you realise, oh yeah, Marston have just done a patch and made them slightly worse, so it's okay. But anyway, here, coming off the line, finished at 5, and we're right behind Spadalonga now, quoting 3/10 I think there in the final sector. Closing up on the brakes again, being careful with the slipstream, not braking too late, but at the same time braking light so I can modulate the brake into the corner. And now here, taking a tighter line than him through turn 2, setting up the run through turn 3, using slightly more throttle, going a little bit wide, now within a 1/10 and a half, right behind Spada again. And in the slipstream of this game, the slipstream is very strong. So when you're behind someone, it's very easy to close up, but then it can be hard to make an overtake. But you can see here, I'm just getting a much better line than Spadalonga through turn 5, getting the run in the slipstream, pulling out to the right without the ride height device, braking hard, but on my braking marker, levelling him on the brakes into turn 6, making sure he has no way to get on the inside curb, because that is the ideal way around the corner, and here he made up the position. Beautiful overtake there, perfect. And now with a 3/10 gap behind to Spada after taking the inside curb, and a 4-second gap to the lead of Julito, who's done very well so far this race, consistent, fast, very little mistakes and no long lap. As you can see there, I'll make a mistake through turn 9. You want to hit that inside curb, I hit it a little bit too early. Now 5/10 down on my delta. At this point of the race, around lap 6-7, is when the tyres really start to drop off, and you'll notice in the next couple of laps the lap times will fall quite fast. Now braking into the final corner, I felt very, very strong on the brakes around Jerez. The corners, turn 1, turn 6, and the final corner, I felt very good. You can see here now, braking into turn 1, and if you look at the left, you can see the delta to Spadalonga has grown to, what is this, 1.2 seconds from about 3/10, and that's because I watched back through his footage after the race, and his controller disconnected. So yeah, that's very unlucky for Spadalonga. He was having a brilliant race up to this point after the big lag collision he had at the start. But yeah, that's just set him back slightly. However, he's still in 4th place, so it's still a very good ride. And now the gap ahead of us, you can see actually on the left, Adrian has a long lap penalty to serve, and I believe at the start of the race he also got 3 seconds. But at the time I obviously didn't know if he had a penalty or not, so at the moment I'm just focusing on my laps, staying consistent, not making mistakes. See, they're hitting the inside curve perfectly, but it made the bike shake a little bit. See, Julito and Joanda getting warnings. As I said earlier, it's very easy to get warnings. You can see up ahead, Julito's gone down at turn 9. I think he just clipped the grass on the inside, and he respawns to our right, and we now gained another position, up to 2nd position, which is a brilliant recovery, especially with these caliber of riders. Coming from the back to the front is almost unheard of. Now going through turn 11 and 12, almost getting a warning on the outside, almost picking up my long lap, but I just about stopped that from happening. Breaking into the final corner, you see Adrian has taken his long lap now, so now it's just a case of whether or not he has that 3 seconds. You can see the gap ahead is 1.8 seconds, so it's not possible to gain that amount of time in 2 laps unless the rider in front makes mistakes. So from here I just need to focus, be clean, don't get a long lap, because Julito is right behind us. If I get a long lap at this point, Julito will immediately be able to gain a position on me, so I need to be very careful. Almost crashing on the turn 3 curb there, like Vito earlier in the race. That would have been super unlucky, but just about staying on. I'll go finishing up the first sector on a 22.8, which is decent for this time in the race, but you know, just needing to stay focused, stay clean. See the gap behind is 0.8, gap ahead is 1.7. I believe Spadalonga in 4th now has a long lap, which is unfortunate for him, so he's going to have to serve that next lap. Now going through turn 7, you can see behind as well, Daniele Aloe, who is also involved in an incident earlier in the race, is now up to 5th, so that's very good for him as well, after a tough start. You see behind, Gabriello 6th, Flavio in 7th, Christian in 8th. I believe he crashed again while following me through the field. I don't know what happened, I didn't see it on the stream or ask about what happened, but he was involved in some sort of other incident, which is unfortunate for him because he had very good pace, race pace at least. When I was following him, he looked very fast. And then Jack in 9th, who again, as I say, he just crashed, but he got very unfortunate again with the start. There's a lot of collisions, and I believe he also had spin at the start as well, so yeah, it's unlucky for him, and he goes down again. You have Joanda in 9th, and at this point I believe Jack is in last, and VTR is in 10th. So yeah, going through turn 2 on the final lap, you can see the gap behind now is going to 1.1 seconds to Julito, so I clearly have strong pace. I'm managing it at this point, but I have strong pace because I've gapped Julito by about half a second, and the gap to Adrian has come down by 4/10 in the last lap, so feeling good, but there's just not quite enough time to catch him. You can see there, Spadalongo disconnects from the race. I believe it wasn't actually a disconnect, and his game crashed for whatever reason. His controller disconnected, plugged it back in or whatever. I don't know what happened, but then his game crashed, and I think when you watch it from I think there was from other people's POV. I think it was I saw VTR's POV, and going into turn 1 his bike just went straight into the wall and was doing cartwheels, so that was quite entertaining but super unfortunate for him. You can see here now the gap to Adrian ahead is 1 second, so really reeling him in at this point, but there's not quite enough time to gain the position, so now I just need to be careful and make sure I don't get a long lap penalty. It's imperative that I do not get a long lap penalty, because Julito is still within a second and a half. If I get a long lap here, it could cost me a second position. Now going through the final couple of corners, braking hard into the final corner. Make sure I don't make any mistakes, being very clean. Hit the inside curb, but I didn't crash, fortunately. That was risky. Now coming out the final corner, crossing line and finishing in second after a brilliant recovery, or finishing second on track after a brilliant recovery. You can see Adrian's bike crashed over the finish line there for whatever reason. Anyway, now the wait is on to see if I end up winning the race, and we'll skip to the final screen, and I do, because Adrian gets a 3-second penalty, which is incredible for my race, because I win now from 10th in the field at the start after getting pole. You see the final results there: Julito, Adrian, Flavio, Daniele Aloe, Christian, Gabriello, Joanda, Vito and Jack, who had an unfortunate race. Yeah, anyway, that's the end of this one. Hopefully I'll see you guys again when I do Silverstone, or not. I'm not sure if I will. And yeah, I really enjoyed this, so hopefully I can do it again. See you all next time.